10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez. And of course, can't do this without my co-host, Jay Galosi. Jay, what is going on, my brother?
Another night in paradise, my friend. How are you
Nice.
doing? Rocking the old school shirt. I'm loving it.
Fuck yeah. Da, 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 da.
We were just having this conversation
Yeah,
about great workout songs versus great walkout songs. I
true,
think Enter
true.
Sandman definitely fits that bill. You know, you had, of course,
Hmm.
the Sandman from ECW, not ECW.
Yes.
Was it
Yeah,
ECW still back
yeah,
then?
absolutely. You're on right. You're on face, bro.
Uh,
ECW. He's hit
So,
himself in the head with the fucking the pipe, and then he's hit his head with the fucking beer, and then drink it. Yeah, and he's
yeah,
bleeding.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You would have the 2x4 wrapped with like the barbed
barbed
wire.
wire. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, he came out
Take
to
like
some
10
great
minutes
song.
to get into the ring. Literally, which is the best thing ever.
That
Like it
was
would take
ECW.
10 minutes to get to the ring. Like, bro, the fucking match is still going. It takes 10 minutes for you just to get to the ring. He's going throughout the whole fucking place, drinking beer. It's
I
amazing.
mean, really, that was the ECW way, right?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I mean, that was exactly what it was, but at the same thing, it was hilarious that it was even possible because you're like sitting there like, this guy's in the fucking crowd like 10 minutes, like drinking beer. Nobody's going after him, right? What the fuck is going on, right? And this guy's just fucking chilling, bro. Da, 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 da.
Who's
Right?
gonna stop him?
Exactly, exactly.
Who's
But
gonna stop
absolutely,
him? Nah.
no, there you go. But yeah, no, listen, thanks for joining us on another edition of Dark Fringe Radio, Jay. And tonight we have a pretty interesting subject matter because we actually lived through this. This is what I
Close to the heart.
call Dungeons, Dragons, and the Devil. And we're going to be talking about how this game started back in the 1970s and has had its time of course, demonization. Throughout the 80s and 90s, where a lot of people were just saying, "Hey, you can't be playing this game." Da 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 da. And now it's been like the most popular thing. It's mainstream right now, Jay, more than ever. I mean, you have like high celebrities that are fucking playing this game that are they're on YouTube playing fucking Dungeons and
I was
Dragons.
explaining to my wife today. I was explaining to her
Right.
today that there are YouTube channels. Forget just the fact that there are celebrities doing it.
Right.
Let's go one step further. There are games being played. There are YouTube channels where there are games being played, multiple games being played, almost as if they're like TV series where there's multiple seasons with these crazy, intricate builds and these wild stories. But
Yep.
what's cool about it is, well, I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah, yeah, we'll talk all about that. But yeah, it's a really interesting subject. We're going to get a lot, deep dive into this whole subject matter, and I'm really looking forward to it. But first, before we get into all that, of course, Jay, want to remind everybody how they can listen to the podcast. Jay, could you remind everybody how they can listen to the podcast and where they can listen to it?
I can. I do. That's why I'm here. You can find us anywhere you find your podcast. You can find us at your iHeartRadio, your iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. We are all those places. But the very best place to it, the best place to get it right from the tap, the most concentrate, the purest form of the sweetest juice,
Hmm.
you get it right from darkfringeradio.com. You get all of our content from all back over the years, all the things we talked
Hmm.
about, interviews, merch, content galore. You pick it up. There's all kinds of great things. You get it right from the place. And you can also get us on YouTube. Best place to do thing when you go on YouTube, you find that, click, you like, you subscribe, you follow. Please give us rates. Please respond. We love the feedback. Help us grow. Help us continue to spread the love, spread the truth, and spread the knowledge, friends.
Absolutely, Jay. Thanks for so much for informing everybody. Darkfringeradio.com. That's the place to go to. And of course, as Jay mentioned, make sure you go to our YouTube, like, subscribe, and give us a comment. That helps us with the algorithm. We really appreciate that, and let's keep that going as well. So, and oh, of course, I forgot TikTok. We're on that as well. That's a
Oh,
new,
yeah. How did I
yeah.
forget TikTok?
And we actually our latest a couple of videos. We did over 180 views, which is great, to be just for not having a lot of fucking, videos on there in the first place. Literally, we only have like 9 videos. So thanks so much for helping us out there. Continue to do that. and we really appreciate it. So tonight, Jay, before we get into the main topic, a couple segments, of course, I want to get into. First off, is Dark Fringe news. Are you ready for some Dark Fringe news?
I love some Dark Fringe news.
All right, let's get into it.
For 15 years, I've been trying to teach you how to write a lead. Do I have to do everything myself? Get the story, write the story?
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
I was looking at the James Brown wig.
Dick.
Fucking thing sucks!
If that's your kind of thing, Maria, you love doing it yourself.
Sometimes, yeah. I can. Take.
Confucius say, I do not think the story had much validity.
Well, Jay, tonight.
I gotta say before you get started,
Please.
that little guy. I have to be honest.
Yeah, please.
That little Christina Aguilera, not Aguilera. I'm sorry, Christina Applegate.
Yes.
Giggle in there from Anchorman, right?
Yes, of course.
It just harkens me back to Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched maybe a month ago. It's such a great movie.
Oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. My God.
But oh my God, what an 80s
Yeah.
crush. And every time I hear that giggle, I see her in
Yeah.
that movie right on top of her.
Listen,
Anyways,
what a great movie, by the way. Like, you've never seen that. You got to check that out. There's a little girl in there when she like has like a Thor like helmet on the whole time.
I think
It's
you're
awesome.
thinking about Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, is that the different movie?
It's a totally different movie.
Oh, see. Oh,
Very
my
good.
gosh.
Also very
Okay.
good.
Nice. Okay.
Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead is Christina Applegate.
Right.
And, there were quite a few other well-named actors in it alongside of her. Although they're
80s.
all escaping me now because movies from like 1987. But the premise is mom goes on a safari with boyfriend, leaves 17-year-old daughter, 16-year-old stoner son, and a gaggle of below like middle school and younger children with only enough money for what the babysitter would need, and they end up with this really old crotchety babysitter who's really nasty for like a day, but then she goes to go in the stoner's room to clean it up and has a heart attack. That's how gross it is. So now they have a week and they can either call their mom and ruin her trip or and
they
that's
look like she
choose.
we get our birdies.
Oh, it's so great. Oh, it's
Remember that one?
And she ends up getting a job where she's allowed like petty cash and
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
How convenient, right?
I mean, it's good shit. It's
oh my gosh.
highly
Well,
suggested.
yes.
Will, clearly you need to go back and watch it.
I do.
Oh, so good though. So
Yes, I do.
hey, there's an old segment from the past, the what to watch.
Yeah, what to watch.
Come
Yeah, that's something that we used to do back in the day. What to watch. That's a good call back there, Jay. That's awesome, bro.
Anyways,
No, but
all the news.
yeah, all the news. Dark Fringe news tonight, Jay. And this week there was supposed to be this big bombshell that kind of landed like a fucking fart in church, as they would say. But the Epstein files land no revelations, no new revelations. I would add to, despite the big promises that were made. Did you hear about this, Jay?
Yeah.
So just like the JFK files that came out again about a month ago, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X files.
So wait,
there was supposed to be new files of the Epstein list that was supposed to come out and all this stuff, and there was no new evidence.
So government transparency turns out to not really be transparent.
You're 100% right there, Jay. After days of drama and anticipation over the promised release of the classified documents, they say, Jay, many hoped would shed light on the disgraced financier and sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. No major revelations have been made, as the thousands of documents Attorney General Pamela Bondi accused the FBI of withholding still have not been made public. Bondi, in a letter to the FBI Director Kash Patel on Thursday, said an unnamed source told her the FBI's New York field office retained thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein, requesting these documents he sent to a letter by her office by Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. So more than 24 hours after Blondie's deadline, it's unclear whether the FBI transformed these additional documents to the Department of Justice, and no additional information has been released to the public despite the wide anticipation. So, Jay, all this promise about releasing more information about the Epstein files and the people that were involved, and it's just ended up
So
being a
what
big
you're
popcorn
saying
fart.
is a corrupt system that clearly all works within itself as in its corruption, which is why they're all so delicate about just how many skeletons in which we pull out of said closets,
Yes.
because
Yes.
they all have been to the island, my guy. That's kind of the problem. They've all been there. They've all partied. I mean,
Yeah.
again,
It's weird.
we
It's
we
weird,
we
right?
like to pretend like everything has gone to hell in a handbasket over the last 4 years. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
tend to forget. Gee, I don't know, presidents that we've talked about impeaching because they were getting ahead in the oral law. I'm sorry, Oval
Whoa! Whoa! Hey!
Freudian
Hey!
slip. What's up?
Hey! Hey!
So it's a good thing we're not on YouTube. Anyway, so
No, it's all good. Listen, she actually came out with an interview not too long ago. What's her name?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, she literally did an interview like a month ago, and she
Huh?
was saying like, "Yeah, he should have been impeached for what he did." I'm like, "Who are you to fucking judge? You're the one doing it."
See, and this is so there's a
Right?
trick, right? We don't always need to necessarily mix our morality with politics, right? It's none of my business
And this is a very
what's
apolitical show.
from, as long
We don't talk about politics on the show normally. This is just something that I thought that was a good idea to bring up because as most conspiracy theories will come out. No, and let me interrupt you, Jay, because this is a really important part, and I want to really emphasize on this little pocket of information. What they'll do, these conspiracy theorist podcasts, the so-called ones, what they'll do is say, "Oh, we found new information that came out of this whole release."
yeah,
There's no new information.
no,
There's nothing.
yeah,
I don't care who the fuck you are. You could say who you could be Lex Friedman. You could be. I don't care who you are. There's no new information.
no.
Stop coming out and saying that there's new information. It's bullshit. First off.
Well, William. I
And
mean, yeah,
everybody wants to be
no,
that one.
no,
No, and let me stop. And I'm sorry, Jay. I have to interrupt you again.
please.
Everybody wants to be that guy that says, "Oh, I have the fucking information. I'm the guy. I'm the dude. I'm the guy. I have the information that nobody else has." Bullshit. You don't have no new information that everybody else doesn't have. It's nothing new. There's nothing new that came out of this. Shut the fuck up. Stop saying that you have information about the new Epstein files and the names all the names that you have now were already names that were released before. This is nothing new. So everybody needs to shut the fuck up, first off, and realize what the fuck we're really dealing with here. And I'm sorry to say it like this because no, it just infuriates me. It gets me really upset. It really upset because
I don't mean.
I'm
I don't
a
mean to laugh.
conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but at the same time,
100%.
not everything is a conspiracy theory either.
No,
Right?
correct.
Exactly. But everybody wants to be that guy that says, "Oh, I got that information. I'll tell you the truth, Jay. I got it. I got the inside knowledge." Right? Nobody else has this thing. I have it though. But it's bullshit, bro. It's all bullshit. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I
No,
digress.
Oh no, please listen. Rare is do we get to see the William rant.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
I apologize for. No, that was great, and all I was going to expound to was simply that the thing about it is, right, everybody wants to be the first to say it,
Mm-hmm.
but the other thing you have to keep in mind is, or the thing that maybe they should keep in mind is, the more information that we pose as being new because we haven't done any research beyond our nose,
Right.
only
Right.
adds to confusion, misinformation, and
Mm-hmm.
propaganda pools, and all it does is it muddies the water. Excuse me, they're already very muddy. They're already very murky. It's already hard to see what is next, where the true. I mean, hard to see where the corruption lies. It lies
Everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. Everywhere. No, and it's interesting that you say this because, and as a, whatever you want to call what we do here, influencers or whatever we are, I look at what's out there too, Jay, and I see what people are putting out there. And it's crazy. I'm like, I'll see videos that, on the screen, it's like, oh, we have the new Epstein issue, information, names and things like that. I'm like, dude, stop
Um,
fucking clickbaiting people. Like, really, don't do that. That's wrong, first off.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I get if it's something that you may think that may be real and then it's not fake, it's fake, and then you're like, okay, I retract, I get it, whatever. But if it's known, like it's like, hey, listen, this is not real. This is bullshit. There's nothing new that came out. People really need to understand this. And
Hey,
you
I
know,
get it. I get it. I have been talking to people all about Bigfoot and Sasquatch for a great many years. I understand how frustrating it can be to promise
yeah,
somebody that it doesn't exist and
yeah.
have them continue to tell you that it does. I get it.
Mhm, mhm. No, let me ask you this, Jay.
Yeah.
You talking it with your people in your inner circles and stuff like that. Like, does this happen a lot? Like, where like just this misinformation like happens like this, where it just catches fire and just like, and then you find out later on, it's like, oh, that was all bullshit, and like, you know,
Um. Well,
how do you find this?
funny. Because
Yeah,
actually, with my business, I tend to find myself walking the tightrope between almost the two extreme sides, right?
right. I get
Um.
that.
And this is where I find things to be very interesting. Is the two sides can want so badly for the same thing, and yet neither can agree how to
Hmm.
get there. And
Hmm.
and that is what the problem is, because neither one's really listening to anything anybody else is saying.
Yeah. No,
Um,
you're absolutely right.
so
You're absolutely
that
right.
and everybody's so hung up. I saw something, and if the person who posted this, who knows me, who posted this, and knows where I got it from, I'm gonna apologize greatly. I don't mean to bring this up. You know what? I'm not even gonna bring it up. I'm just gonna leave it right there because I know better. Moving along. My point will
Wow.
remain the
Look at
same.
that.
My point will remain the same, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the day, I interact. What I'm interacting with is I have these extremists who are everybody's just trying to find a way to save uh, everything that's going on, and there's so much going on that feels like there's so much to save that everybody is kind of recoiling. So what happens
Yeah.
is any little bit of information you get, it's like a feeding frenzy, right?
Right.
If you're
Right.
on the side that believes what's being put out there, you eat it up like it's gobbledygook. He says, nummy, 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 nummy,
Right.
and
Yeah,
you
it's
follow that,
tribalism.
right? And you believe that that's, but then you have the other side that's so opposed to it that just it being in the water spits at it and doesn't
Hmm.
take anything. It's two sides refusing to even come to a middle ground, that there might be a middle ground, and
Right.
that's what I'm finding. I'm finding a lot of open mouths and closed ears. Like I would tell the kids,
Yeah.
when the wolf's mouth is open, his ears are
Yeah.
closed. But when the
Can't
wolf's
hear
mouth is
anything.
closed, his ears are
Yeah.
open.
There it is. There it is.
That's what we used to teach little children.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, yeah, we can't do that anymore, right? Jesus. But no, that's a good perspective, Jay. I mean, because I look at this and I just like I see this and I was like, us as as a podcast and what we do here, we try to like, talk about the things that, are not talked about, right? But then at the same time, you see a narrative that's pushed out there with no information that's, even remotely supports it. So
Well,
and it gets frustrating as a person like myself, and trying to put out information out there and come up with theories and subject matter that to talk about and have podcast episodes about. It just becomes one of those things where you're like, okay, should we talk about this or should we not talk about this? Should I give it more time to breathe, or should I just walk away from it and just let it go and maybe
there's
revisit it at a different time?
there's so many divisive topics, and everybody seems to be in such a hot hot button mode these days, right? You do have to tiptoe around some minefields because, whether we're I don't think we're influencers. I think of us as entertainers and purveyors of strange truths.
There
We
you
try
go.
to find the specks of reality and the oddities, and what can't be explained and the otherwise known. So,
There you go.
and really, I think if you go back and you listen to our podcasts, for those who haven't listened to the other ones, I think you'll really hear, because I was always the skeptic. I'm always the skeptic. I'm always the person who goes kind of in everything going, yeah, I don't know, guys. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's, Occam's razor, usually if it's the simplest answer. But if you listen, I have certainly seen things as we've progressed in our podcast, and me being a little bit more open-minded and just being introduced to these things, that one, everything is not as it seems. Two, not only is the government out for itself, but in a way, through social media, it's becoming very overt. I think that's where it really gets sticky. Is it's not only that there's so much information, but
There's too much information.
It's too much information, and it's being groomed in such a way by people who are almost so brazen and open about what's going on.
Well, it dilutes the truth at the end of the day, right? If there's so much information, right?
It's like that dress. Remember that dress? Was it blue and black or was it white and gold?
Yeah, right.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
One side cannot see the other colors.
Yeah.
It's not a color erasing, but it's just
No. You're absolutely right. You're dead on. You're fucking dead on. No,
they literally
listen,
cannot see the other side's argument.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. What do they call it? Oh fuck. There's a name for that. Damn it. It'll come back to me. No, it'll come back to me. But that's a good explanation, Jay. I mean, still, we're dealing with this stuff here, and everybody comes out and says this stuff, and hey, look, we're disclosing this when they haven't disclosed anything. It just becomes this whole back and forth thing, and it's all played out on the social media, and it's crazy because back in the day, this stuff would have never the government would have never gone play tennis in social media with something like this. You know what I mean? They would just told you this, and that's what it is back in the day.
There was no social media to talk about, but I mean, so let's be real, right? So, if I'm being 100% honest, my all-time favorite president would happen to be Ronald Reagan. I'm biased. He was the one who was the president when I was born. He's president first 8 years of my life. He kind of reminded me of my grandpa, So I kind of like the guy.
I get it.
You don't dive too deep into some of those politics because whatever. Yeah. I thought he was a good president, good leader, some good, some bad. Like most of them, they're apt to whatever happens. But on the same token, there are stories about how everybody thought he was sleeping and napping in cabinet meetings, but in reality, they actually have this in I think in the National Library. They have framed some doodles and drawings that President Reagan made during those cabinet meetings, and in one of them he actually signed to one of the whatever, said, "Just to show you, Jim, I don't sleep in meetings. I draw some too."
There you go. Look at that. Yeah. What the fuck are you to say to that, right? I got you, bitch. I got your profile.
So we don't find out about that until it's too late for anybody to really care. And it becomes this cute anecdote, this footnote in this otherwise fairly pretty decent, okay president's tenure. Right. But now you have it where it's we want to see Obama's birth certificate because we feel fucking entitled. Because we all have a phone. Literally, we do, right? Just to give everybody a little perspective. Maybe you haven't thought about this either, Will. Think about this, right? So the 2025. Okay. So William and I, 30 years ago, were in high school.
45.
30 years ago. Yep, we were
35 years ago. Yeah, 35 years ago.
30 years ago, we weren't 5. I'm going to high school.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
1995. Let me set this for William numerically. 1995, exactly 30 years ago, we were in high school in a class called mass media. And what we did was we took videos and we would edit things and films. I know this is a little long. There's a long-winded way to talk about just how old we are, and we had to go uphill both ways in the snow down in South Florida. But back then, you had to have a room full of crazy equipment that you had to be specially trained, and the rooms had to be cooled, and these things had to be protected. And I'm not
Super
saying
fucking cold.
but we are doing the exact same thing 30 years later. I have the thing I'm using is currently being held on a tripod with a little fluorescent light around it. And as soon as he and I are done, I'm going to take this thing off the stand. It's going to go in my pocket. And in about 10 seconds after that, I'm going to pull it out to say, hey, what happened on Facebook? Because that's what you can do, because we are living in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Back then, you didn't have the ability, right? Babe Ruth, would he have been the Sultan of SWAT if all those controversies were coming out exactly the time they could?
Maybe not.
Would Michael Jordan be Michael Jordan if he had to deal with social media like LeBron James? Don't get me wrong, not a fan of LeBron James. My point being,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's a different time. Exposure, yeah. No, and that's not only is it the exposure, but the constant criticism at the same time too, because of the exposure. You know what I mean? So like
everybody feels like that. Everybody's a platform,
and every moment that you do, and every move you make, it's criticized. So it's just like, okay, like it's not like what it was before, where it took time. Like, okay, he did this or she did that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, you had time to think about it, and like, oh no. Now it's just like, it literally, like, you saw the video of like, oh, Conor McGregor fucking punched a guy in the fucking face at a pub,
right?
You know what I mean?
Okay,
right.
Prime example, right? Love Conor McGregor. Don't love Conor McGregor. Hate Conor McGregor. Love him for this point.
Right.
How many awful, weird, wonky, stupid things does he say that he instantaneously deletes?
Exactly.
That everybody knows about anyways.
Yeah.
Because the second he posts, everybody's seen it. Because he's Conor motherfucking McGregor.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's, listen, I mean, this is a great contention or contentious point as to why people do certain things on social media, and why, celebrities do certain things on social media. So, but nevertheless, I mean, it goes to right back to the key aspect of what we were talking about how this,
how the government did not actually release the Epstein
right.
files. And
It's all just bullshit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
The price of eggs is still too high.
Bro, eggs is getting out of control, bro. I'm about to be the fucking star of an egg cartel, bro. I'm gonna get some eggs, like chickens in the backyard. Oh boy! But anyways, hey, it's all good. But that's a good close for tonight for Dark Fringe News, which brings us to our next segment, Jay, which is What the F, Florida Man. You ready for some What the F, Florida Man?
Brother, I love What the F, Florida Man.
Let's do it, brother.
Florida man.
A Florida man. A Florida man.
A Florida man.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up, as it does increasingly, and this time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
A man accused of destroying a liquor store in Okaloosa County told police he was in Alice in Wonderland. Matthew Horace Jones also said a caterpillar smoking a hookah told him to do it.
A man calls 911 while Collier County Sheriff's deputies are chasing him, and he says Donald Trump, our president, is his personal friend, a close one at that.
A Lake Worth man is not too happy. He's accused of getting violent when waiters at a restaurant told him they weren't giving away free pizza.
Covering Florida this morning, a Key West man is behind bars. Investigators say he was caught with a large amount of cocaine hidden in this Cookie Monster doll.
Holy shit, man.
Holy shit, man. Jay,
why did you do that? Why did you put all that cocaine in that Cookie Monster?
Hey, listen, I thought it was a good place. Who would look at a Cookie Monster jar? Like, really, honestly, like, right? I was thinking to myself,
it was the Cookie Man.
It was the Cookie. Don't let the Cookie get you.
The Cookie Man.
What do you have this week for us, Jay, for What the F, Florida Man?
Oh, well, let's start off with our What the F, Florida Man goes to Road and Track. I got this story.
Nice.
Road and Track online.
Okay. What up?
Florida man was arrested. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, big ups to Road and Track. Just giving them props.
Florida man was arrested for attempting to surf his truck.
He was attempting to serve his truck.
His truck.
Okay, let's hear this.
A man was arrested in Florida last Tuesday when he was spotted allegedly using his Ram pickup truck as a surfboard on a closed beach. The man accessed the area without paying the proper tolls and drove around a gate that said, "Do not enter."
Of course.
According to police.
Right. Which he entered.
If it was locked and gated, it certainly didn't say, "Welcome, come on in."
Yeah, exactly. Right. Come on in.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office, let's start there. It's Volusia County. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office arrested Jason. Now, I'm only going to say his actual last name one time.
Okay.
And then we're related to him as Bruh from here on out.
Okay.
They arrested Jason Brazuskowicz. Okay.
Bro.
Bruh.
Bruh. I even have it. Ready? You ready? I got the bruh for you. Ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I mean, because, like, is it bruh? Is he bruh?
Bruh.
Like that?
Bruh. Yeah. Bruh. Like that. And he's trying to serve his truck. In his name, the first four letters is B-R and U. Bruh.
Oh, bruh. Yeah.
There just happens to be a D in there, which is what screws it all up.
Oh, my God.
So, Volusia County Sheriff's Office arrested Jason Bruh on New Smyrna Beach when they spotted pickup truck driving up and down the sand into the water. At times, the waves were washing over the roof of the truck.
Oh, shit.
However, this did not deter Bruh, as he allegedly continued to drive his truck into the ocean.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Bruh.
Wow.
So
does he not understand the like mechanics of a car? Yeah.
Let's just see how bro this guy was. Ready for this?
Right. Go ahead.
This is where it really gets nice. Okay.
Let's hear it. Yeah, because
so the police pulled him over. He didn't make up an excuse. He didn't try to say he was high on anything. There was nothing. The only thing he said instead, he said, and I quote, "Not my fault. The truck don't surf."
That's all I got to give you, Sarah, is an applause to that. Yeah, of course the car doesn't surf. It's not a fucking surfboard. It's a
Dodge Ram.
It's a Dodge Ram. Yeah.
It's a Dodge Ram. I mean, if you want to surf, Corvette maybe, fiberglass.
Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Was this guy high? Please tell me this guy was high.
He was. So he's currently charged with failure to pay a vehicle access fee. He was transported to jail where he's held on $200 bond, and next time he wants to go surfing, they said he should make
Not
sure
do it in Florida.
Make sure he stays sober and off of.
Wow, that's actually not that bad for what I thought he would get. Like,
no,
$200 bond. I mean, like that's nothing.
He was stoned, and that was it. He was
something. That's not stoned, dude. That's like on something else, bro. Like I'm like on a Ram pickup truck.
Well, okay. First off, if you see the picture of the guy, his hair is very long, semi-dreadlocked. So he's definitely a surfer. I'm pretty sure he's actually even in a wetsuit, legit. I mean, maybe
he took the wrong edibles.
Maybe,
he took the wrong edibles.
Because he was just out for a good time, right?
Yeah, he took the wrong edibles that night.
Beach was closed. He wasn't going to run nobody over. And his truck. Who really gives a shit if his truck gets all ruined and washes away with the sea? Who cares if it washes away with his drugged ass in it?
What an idiot.
Yeah.
What a fucking great story. What that Florida man, Jay. Thanks so much for that. I mean, geez, that's a good one. I mean, that's a fucking good one. Jesus Christ.
Truck
wow.
Don't surf.
No, the truck doesn't surf, gentlemen. And don't try to. Don't.
The trucks don't surf.
The truck don't surf. Okay. Yeah, I got to go revert back to my third grade English for that one. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, thank you. But a good one for What the Florida Man, Jay. Thanks so much. Wow. Jeez. I mean, what the fuck? Anyways, yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. I'm really dumbfounded. I don't even have words for this
Near the
shit.
beach, baby. Just near the beach.
And of course, in the middle of fucking Florida, the armpit of Florida. Everywhere, everything that happens bad in the armpit of Florida. Anyways, thanks Jay for that. What that Florida man, really appreciate it. Which gives us time for us to say, hey, listen, we're gonna have a little quick break before we get into the main topic tonight. We're gonna be talking about Dungeons, Dragons, and the Devil, and how this highly revered game from the '70s, Jay, has become one of the most prolific games of all time, and it's reached its popularity and its height at where we're at now. So we'll be talking about that now here in a second, but we'll take a quick break and tell everybody don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Dark Fringe Radio, your premier source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.
Welcome back, everybody, to Dark Fringe Radio. I'm your host, Will Martinez. Of course, can't do this without my co-host, Jay Colosi. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Dungeons, Dragons, and the Devil. And why I kind of, titled that this episode because, Jay and I, we lived through a really interesting time through history where there was a certain game that came out in the 1970s, made up by Gary Gygax, and he came out with a tabletop game called Chainmail, and it got changed the name over time to Dungeons and Dragons, and what it was just basically a role-playing game that was done over tabletop. You had maps, you had figurines at the beginning time, you had all that stuff, it was really cool. But over time, there was a lot of evolution during this particular game, Jay, and a lot of people call it one of the most greatest games of all time. Literally. I mean, and I'll say that too. I think that's a very fair assessment. But it went through a lot of transitions, especially through the '80s and '90s and where it is now, and especially the '80s, where we lived through it. Growing up, and we played the game. We were very into it, very prolifically into it. We were all dungeon masters at one point. We had also player characters as well. But we also saw how the the demonization of the game kind of affected some of the people that were in our periphery as well. We had people that were in our group that we saw their parents basically say, "Hey, you can't even bring this shit into the house."
Yeah.
Right. And it was really weird. It was really weird. And you would have thought that would have been my mom, but my mom was super cool with it, right?
Yeah.
My mom was like, "As long as you don't make fucking noise, I don't give a fuck."
So I don't know if you remember this.
Right. Go ahead.
So back in the day, friends, neighbors, Romans, we weren't a dynamic duo. Okay. And we're going to leave it at that. Okay.
Right.
That being said, there was another entity of adult feminine style. If you guys are following me, another mother in the triad.
Yeah.
So there was my mom, who essentially
super cool.
My house ended up
super cool.
My house ended up being the hang house. You see how I just keep doing that?
Oh,
my
absolutely.
house ended up being the hang house, right? Because every Friday night was pizza night, and there's nothing better than Dungeons and Dragons and pizza.
Pizza night, Friday night, video games, and there was a pool in the backyard. What else can you fucking ask for?
I mean, it was life.
Literally, that's exactly what it was.
Spoiled bitch. What can I say?
Right.
So, true. So, and then there was Will and his mom, Rosa, who scared the bejesus out of me.
She's scared of the bejesus out of everybody, bro.
I know.
Yeah. But she was cool about Dungeons and Dragons.
Awesome. Right, yeah. Which was fun.
He was like, I don't care. Go play.
As he was saying, this other person, I was telling my wife today a story about this other person actually accusing my mother of being a bad mom because she let her kids play Dungeons and Dragons.
Right. Yeah. It was weird. During that time, there was so much, bullshit that was going around, just, hearsay about the game. And, I'm going to play, you know what? I'm going to play something right now, Jade. I think it's really important because, people, well, no, I don't think that people realize that how serious it was. Like really, because people talk about, oh yeah, yeah, you're just saying that there were some certain groups of people that were just against it. No, it was like
Well,
there was, I think, a very concerted effort to kind of
so
like bury the
I
shit.
mean, and really, actually, if you look at it, it's an interesting. I don't mean to cut off what you're going to play, but if we take a step back, if you let me interject just for a minute,
Please, yeah.
It really is an interesting dichotomy because if you look at what it was back then, it does kind of a little bit mirror what's going on today, just to a more degree, right? So it wasn't just that it was Dungeons and Dragons, and yes, this tabletop game is the topic of our conversation tonight, was certainly a major part of it. But what it was there is a type, I don't want to say a type of people, but there
was a group.
There was a niche of humans that played this game that also tend to like heavy metal music, and most of us had long hair, and geeks, nerds. You had a lot of stoners, and you had a lot of there was a lot of hard rock, heavy metal stuff that was going on. At the same time, we were listening to bands like Metallica, Black Sabbath, Megadeth. These bands emoted a kind of a darkness. Cannibal Corpse, right? I mean, come on, it's in the name, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So, and on the exact opposite side, you have our parents who are products of their parents who were raised in the 50s. I mean, we're talking, well, yeah, the 60s was the 60s was a sexual revelation. The 80s, we had AIDS, friends.
Right.
Like, nobody's going and sticking their willy just anywhere anymore because that was dangerous. That became scary. So you have this group, the baby boomers, right? These boomers. I hate, they hate it when you call them that, but
I know, but it's true. I didn't make the name. We didn't make the name.
Not me. I didn't do it.
Yeah, we didn't make the name.
But these boomers, I think, were trying to give us those traditional family values, but didn't try to really necessarily evolve the family values. Communication still really wasn't there. There was still a lot of misunderstandings that have led to, where we're at. But what it was you had just this hardcore belief that like you could play records backwards and it would say something satanic backwards. I mean, right? Same thing. We thought Aikido worked.
True.
And I don't mean anybody who practices Aikido. I'm not, if you practice and you love it, enjoy it, please continue.
Yeah, but
wonderful.
It's not very effective.
I'm just saying.
It's not very effective, in real life.
Until I understood how to actually shoot a single leg.
Yeah, right.
I did not.
This is way more effective.
To grab an ankle.
Yeah. This is way more effective.
Same. We have learned so much, come so far, and evolved so much. Yeah. I just don't think our parents were really fully equipped, and kind of here we are. So you had parents that were trying to do the right thing, but we can step up. We can kind of look back at it now and be like, that was really fucking dumb.
Yeah. Actually, let me play one real quick thing from one of our favorite individuals of all time, Pat Robertson. Remember from the 700 Club? Remember that guy?
I do.
Yeah. Let's hear what he has to say about
good old Pat.
Yeah.
Dear Pat, I want to ask for your opinion. Is it safe for a Christian to enjoy video games that have magic in them if the person playing the games is not practicing the magic?
First off, what a fucking crazy ass question is that, right? Like,
okay, first off, 1987. Or actually, that's like
this is 1999, by the way.
That was 1999?
This is 1999.
Oh, it sounds so 1985. Continue.
Right. I know. You would think, right? But this is 1999. But listen.
Dear Pat, I want to ask for your opinion. Is it safe for a Christian to enjoy video games that have magic in them if the person playing the games is not practicing the magic?
I think, the idea is not how close can I get to danger, really? But how far away can I stay from it? I don't know what game you're talking about. I know there's one called Dungeons and Dragons that literally destroyed people's lives. I mean, they got into this thing and they were it was like demonic.
Destroying people's lives, Jay.
Almost
I don't know
demonic.
what game you're talking about, but if it's based on magic and the occult and that sort of thing, stay away from it. There are other games you can play, but don't get into that. You say, is it wrong or not wrong? I just think that we should flee from evil.
So I think there was a concerted effort, Jay, I don't know, during the 80s where it was just like, it was so demonized, dude. It was just like, oh, you could never play something like this because you're worshiping the devil by playing this. And by no means you were doing anything. If you knew what we knew as Jay and I, as practitioners of the game from the beginning, you're doing nothing of the sorts. There's no worshiping of any devil.
You're honestly, had parents realized that we were doing that, they may have encouraged it.
Dude, it was so much math. It was ridiculous.
I hate math. So much math.
And it's so much easier for these guys now where they have all these like automatic counters and everything. Yeah. We actually had to fucking do it like scratch. 21 hit points minus 4. Like, okay, I got to keep on, keeping track.
Your AC is what?
What? Yeah. Your THACO is what?
This and
right.
You don't get a save roll, and maybe you're playing AD&D second edition, but I got AD&D, the Monster Compendium third editions.
That's a whole nother conversation, Jay. That's
guys,
a whole.
It was not. Yeah. It wasn't as cut and dry. It was a very complicated game that really I think had anybody and clearly now, as we see, once people have become a little more open to it, you get to see kind of a different side of it. But
I dare to say, Jay, that most of the people now that are like doctors, lawyers, and people of like higher stature play this game back in the day. Play this game.
Well, yeah, right. It's ebbs and flows. We were the generation that played, and we are now the generation that's in charge. So
yeah,
what we liked as kids, we can now say is cool, right? Like when I bought my car, right? I bought my car just at the right time. It was just before the last Fast and Furious came out. That like it had a Fox body, like at the very beginning, and I just bought my car like a week before, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! That's cool." And then my car's worth jumped up like $15,000 overnight. And all my friends, the guy I bought the car from, and all my buddies that had these cars, they're all like, "It's so crazy, like how expensive these cars are all of a sudden." Like, this car back in the day would have been a $600 shit box. I can now roll out of here for $8,000, and it doesn't
make
any
right?
sense. And I'm like, hey guys. All the people who couldn't afford those cars that were kids, or who looked at those cars as kids, were like, "Oh my God, I can't." We're all now adults who have jobs who can afford them.
Who can afford them, right? Exactly. Yeah.
And because they were $600 shit boxes, and we didn't realize that at any point they were going to be collectible, because who the fuck loves a Fox body?
Right.
Well, now everybody loves them, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But there are so many that didn't survive. So the scarcity then becomes a thing, and you have this whole stuff, and that's what it is. It's as things that were passe when we were the kids. Now that we're adults, when we were on the other side of it, we know there's nothing demonic about it. We know it's a great game of strategy. It's great for critical thinking. It's great for parallel play. It's great for teamwork. It's great for storytelling. It's great for so many incredible things. And fuck math.
Well, it's and I want everybody to kind of understand what Dungeons and Dragons is too, because we talk about it, but we really don't explain what it is. Like, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a strategy role playing game. Yeah, you're covering all the bases right there. You're being very vague and generalized there, but I really want people to understand what it is. And I found a clip here, Jay, that I think really defines what Dungeons and Dragons is. And so I found a clip of a lady. Her name is Deborah Ann Wall, and she's very prolific in the Dungeons and Dragons community, but she's also an actress, and she also played a very critical role in the last Punisher series that was on Netflix, right?
Well, it was a good series.
Yeah, great series. And so she actually is on John Bernthal's podcast, who played the Punisher. John Bernthal, of course, he played the latest rendition of Punisher on Netflix. He had a podcast and he brought her on. And they got into this really interesting discussion about Dungeons and Dragons, Jay. And I think she kind of like really um, explains in a very simple way, but beautifully, what Dungeons and Dragons is. I'm gonna play this clip here, Jay. I want you to listen to it, and then I want your opinion after. Okay?
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I don't. It's like a game, but like you imagine you're like in the game, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just it's just a collaborative storytelling with some characters.
And you tell the story?
Yeah, I'm a dungeon master, so generally I've written an arc and created a world, and then players explore it. And I make calls as to like how difficult it is to climb a wall or fight a monster or that kind of thing.
And so if you say this is a real difficult monster to fight, then you've got to come up with a different way of fighting it?
Yeah, or, either it can just be like how hard you hit it and how long the thing goes, but it might be how do you negotiate your way out of it? If you can't actually kill a dragon, but it's going to eat you, how do you tell it not to? So there are other kind of checks that you can do, persuasions and deceptions and intimidations and all.
And then you decide whether you beat the dragon, the person beat the dragon?
Yeah, there are stats. There's a lot of math involved that can make that happen.
Again, a lot of math. Again, like what Jay said, a lot of math. If our parents only knew, they would fucking make us play this game 24/7. But let me go back to the fucking clip here.
But like,
God damn.
You want to play D&D?
I mean, I'll try. I mean, what do you think?
No,
I'd
like
be able to do
literally right now.
Sure.
All right. So what do you see? You've got a bow strapped to your back, a sword and a dagger at your hilt, right? So you're walking through the woods. It's dark. It's at night. It's almost no moonlight is coming through. You hear a crack off in the distance.
I love this because this is exactly what D&D is.
What it is.
Right, Jay?
That's what it is.
How many dungeons have I started? Like, you're in a room and there's spikes that are closing in at you at a speed of 2 foot.
A lot of them.
A lot of them, right?
That's okay.
I mean, this is
my trope is always you get a scroll and it tells you to meet up with because usually it's a bunch of people who've never really been so it's
right
all here and this is so
I always start with desperation at the beginning.
Yes. I like to
Jason
ease people into a world.
Yeah.
Now the difference is, I believe, between William's dungeons and mine tend to be long, deep worlds that honestly most people don't go through. Like 90% of them. Will's tend to be mad, chaotic. Let me
short stories of
why the person next to me is going to stab me in my back.
Right. Yeah.
Very soft.
Exactly. Very soft. Yeah. Hold on, let me go back but this is a great explanation, but let's go back.
Something large stepped on a branch. What would you do?
First thing, how far away is the crack?
Give me a perception check. So then you roll dice and we'd see how perceptive you are. Let's say you roll a 13. Okay. And you're pretty perceptive, so you have a +3 to that. That's 16. So I know, 16, that's pretty perceptive. You think it's about 20 feet away.
Okay.
Fucking love this lady, by the way. She's so good, dude.
Also,
she's good.
This is a very experienced dungeon master.
Yes,
who's doing this like this
a million times.
If you know
what you see,
it sounds easy, but what she's doing is not.
Right. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for reiterating that point because a lot of people don't realize that. Really, it's not something you could just sit here and do. Like, I could sit here and come up with a dungeon. Yeah, sure. Bullshit. Yeah, let's hear you come up with a story and come up with the second, third, fourth, and fifth act. Let's hear it. Right?
And then start to work out like distances and
right. Intricacies.
You have control over a world.
Right. Everything. Yeah.
Everything.
It's about 20 feet away. I think I take out my bow first.
So you take a bow, you're readied, you're aimed, you're
right at where the spot's coming. Yeah.
Okay. Slowly creeping towards you, suddenly into view, a little bit of eye shine in the darkness. You see an owl bear. This is a 10, 15 foot tall monster. It looks like an owl, but it has the body of a bear. It opens its beak and squawks.
Shoot it, bitch. Shoot it, right, Jay?
I shoot it. Fucking owl. Right? Pang, right there. You got the boat. It's the owl bear. So it's an owl bear. Dope.
Yeah. You ready?
Download Pi. It's a free Chrome extension that blocks ads on.
Have I ever met an owl bear before? Like, are owl bears?
We could do a history check. So this is D&D. You're playing D&D.
What do you mean a history check?
So a history check would be like, in your past, in your history, have you experienced
Okay, so how do I check? Yeah, let's
you
check
would roll a dice. Let's say you have a low history. You roll a 13, but you have a -3. That's a 10. So no, you've never met an owl bear in your life. You have no idea whether it's threatening or not, but it is squawking at you.
I'd be like, yo, are you my friend or are you my foe?
Fantastic. You speak to it?
Yeah, try.
Give me an animal handling check. So you'd roll another one. So this is we kind of see, based on your character sheet that you've created, you're going to be good and bad at different things.
She's so good. She's so good, right? That's like exactly what a dungeon master is supposed to like be,
Well,
right?
hopefully.
A good one, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, she's a good
I
one.
create the sheet.
You could, or I could, or you could get a pre-made sheet,
Why
that
don't
kind
you
of
just
thing.
make your sheet that you're great at everything?
Because, you know, if you're a wizard who's in school studying books to learn magic, you're probably not spending that much time in the gym. Versus if you're, you know, a knight who goes out and slays dragons, you know, maybe you're socially awkward and don't know how to talk to people. So your
So
charisma
is it within your
status
interest to like not be great at everything?
You want flaws. Like one of my favorite characters, my friend Tommy played Viros. He was a prince. And the idea was that he was very, you know, he'd been kind of pampered his whole life and everyone always laughed at all his jokes and said that he was wonderful and handsome. But he's actually not that funny. He's not that handsome. He just has been sheltered. So when he got out in the world and started...
How many times have you seen this character play out, right, Jay?
Oh my gosh.
Like a million times. Veros, that guy is the same guy we played.
I mean,
Right?
we've all
a million
had,
times.
We've all had the doof character. We've all had a doof character that we loved that was stupid. I remember my brother had one named Yo-Yo.
Yeah. But this is what it's about. This is exactly what it's not about being great about everything, you know?
I think that's the part, like, and if you're hearing this guy, if you really listen to these questions, right, and they're not bad questions that he's asking, but they're questions trying to shortcut to the victory. And what everybody forgets is that the thing about Dungeons and Dragons and the reason why so many things have spun off of it is because it's not about the destination. It's not actually about the treasure. It's not about
winning or losing.
Dragon.
Right.
It's about getting to the dragon.
Right.
How did you figure out that you need to get to the dragon? Why are you in front of this dragon? What is this dragon? And the story that kind of surrounds that. So you get the idea is you get immersed. Playing that character allows you to forget who you are. It allows you to go be something completely different. One of my all-time favorite characters, my very first character, was a Viking named Bones who was 9 feet tall. Well, wouldn't you know it? A short kid wanted to play a big, strong, tall monster Viking who carried around a hammer and hit heads first and asked questions later. Well, shocker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was
but then again, that's your first character. Then further on, as you I would say, get better at this game, or as they would say, what's the word? I can't even think of.
As you
evolve. That's exactly what I was looking for. You start to play a character that's different. That's not like that.
And it's not just about, right. So Will's right. And I think he just brought me onto a point I don't think he realized. It's not even just about advancing that character. You advance as a player, and then you want to start experiencing different ways to play. Maybe I want to be a chaotic good ranger. Maybe I want to be a chaotic evil mage. Maybe I want to be a...
Exactly.
Who knows? I mean...
Who knows?
And when we were kids, there were still already so many options. But now, especially with technology and apps and how the game...
dude, it's crazy.
Players and
it's crazy
creativity.
Now. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. And, it's like, again, it's not about winning or losing, but it's about the story at the end of the day. It's about the story and the experience. And I'm going to get back to this clip here, and it's exactly what they're going to be talking about.
Started investigating, he thinks that he's this charming, suave individual, but his stats, his like literal charisma stats are very low. So he would fail constantly. And part of his story throughout the campaign...
It's like Wolowitz from Big Bang Theory. Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Was him learning that he wasn't as charming as he thought he was. So flaws are great. Flaws make good story.
But is the goal to win?
No.
What's
there
the
is
goal?
no goal is to tell a great story.
Tell a great story.
See?
And there might be arcs of like one big bad is like hurting innocent people. and there are monsters to fight. So you're motivated to be a hero. And that's what I love about D&D is practicing being a hero. It's practicing protecting the innocent and stopping the bad guy and standing up for your fellow players. It's the greatest game ever created. And it's just collaborative storytelling. You just sit at a table. It's as close as you can get to when you were 7 on the play yard, just like making up games and stories.
How better than that can you
storytelling?
How better than that can you like explain that?
That's pretty great.
Right? When I heard this, Jay, I was like, this is the best way of explanation of ever of D&D.
So I actually want to see real quick if you can. And honestly, you're probably going to have to put that in here.
Yeah.
The evolution of this game and what it's turned into. So on YouTube, from College Humor, there's Fantasy High, Dungeons and Dragons, and they have these models, these tabletops that they come up with, because they created a game that was essentially around like a 1980s, like a Pretty in Pink, weird science kind of vibed game, and I think they've got 3 seasons of it now. But so it starts off with this group of like 6 kids who they are freshmen, but like one is a swashbuckler, one is she's a healer that sprays to the corner. Pull it up.
Yeah, no, and it's a great thing that, and I'm going to pull it up here in a second. But what I want to kind of like, reiterate on and kind of like point a good, attention to is that Dungeons and Dragons is so prolific that you can bring in so many different aspects. Like what you're saying, we're talking about 1980s, atmosphere. Well, and everybody thinks Dungeons and Dragons is always set in a medieval time. It doesn't have to be set that way. No. There was Dark Sun. Remember where it was like in an alien world. There was Spelljammer where it was in space. There was
Heroes Unlimited where you got to be superheroes.
Yeah, right.
One of my all-time favorite characters, Barbecue Sauce. The guy was he was a liquid character who was short and wide, but he was made of barbecue sauce.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like the like how this can go so many different ways. It's not the cookie cutter medieval times. It has to be set during that time. It's only Dungeons and Dragons and swords and shields. No, I mean this has gone on to even like vampires and things of that nature. So I mean, say that again.
Star Trek. There's role-playing games where you have
exactly
the ships, and then you have planets you'll get off onto. I mean, it spawned and spurred so many iterations of incredible games. I have heard one, a friend of ours, Evan, who actually he runs him and some buddies still get together from high school and still run weekly tabletop games. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
They have one where you are in the room you're in. The adventure starts, you are who you are, and you are in the room you're in, and that's where it starts, and your character arcs off on that. Now, I can't give you anything more than that, because that's all I remember from him explaining, because this I was like, that might be just a little too real for me.
Yeah.
We'll take a step
but
back.
That's what they would call the homebrews, right?
Right.
Homebrews are what we call Dungeons and Dragon type games that are put in different scenarios. So like what you said, that that's what they call excuse me, a homebrew. Somebody that comes up with a scenario or a world where it's basically a world where it has Dungeons and Dragons types of mechanics and things of that nature, which would help you go through a game, right? But it's put in a completely different world.
But you actually being your character.
Exactly. And so, now, Jay, it's become so prolific now. I mean, like you said, between the celebrity, fanfare now, you see Jack Black out there. You see celebrities like
Well, I mean, you brought up Big Bang Theory. That's my very favorite TV show.
Oh, of course.
I was just watching an episode that had Will Wheaton was running a game.
God damn you, Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton! My favorite part of that is the fact that Sheldon goes through the entire episode quoting Khan.
Khan, right? Yeah.
And at one point, Raj looks at me and goes, you keep quoting Revenge of Khan. He goes, but he was the next generation. And before he can finish, Sheldon goes, silence.
Yeah.
Joe Manganiello, Will
Yeah.
Shatner,
And Joe Manganiello, and he's an actual D&D player. They actually
Edwin
have
DeBar.
absolutely these guys. It's so crazy now that you see all these celebrities now that are coming out on YouTube videos and stuff like
What
that they're playing Dungeons and Dragons.
what I have found, what I've actually find a lot of entertainment and something I go to and watch often because I have trouble finding things that really truly entertain me anymore.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
So I actually will go onto YouTube, and there are all kinds of different channels. D20,
Yeah.
College
DVD
Humor,
on.
yeah, that
Yeah.
have ongoing games that you can follow, like TV
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah. It's like
this
series.
fantasy,
Like
this
you're
fantasy,
following
season,
you're
the
following
season
the whole
one of
thing.
Fantasy High. Like
Yeah.
there's a moment between the father and the son that I promise you will bring you to tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not just a big old sissy. I mean, I am a big old sissy, but
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's amazing how the popularity, Jay, now that it's reached, even with the movies, they had the Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out a couple of years ago, did very well, did very well.
Did it?
Some people, it did actually did very well. It covered its price and
remember
production
the
and above. So,
animated TV show?
bro, come on. I mean, we can go into that all day. I mean, absolutely.
I bought my brother Tony. So my brother
Yeah.
Tony's
It was
all.
only 1 or 2 seasons, right? I believe, right?
I think there's two.
2, right? Yeah,
there's-
it wasn't that long.
No, not many, not many. So my brother's ultimate, his best character was Venger.
Of
right?
course,
The one that we
had nothing to do with Venger, right?
No, but
No,
the main
right.
baddie in
Right.
this TV show was named Venger.
Venger, right?
So probably, and we're going back a decade at this point.
Yeah,
was in
and we're talking
Goodwill.
1990 at that point,
Well, no, we're talking probably,
and we're still going back a decade.
probably 2015. No lie, I was in
Okay.
Goodwill and I came across the entire DVD set
Oh shit!
for $2.
Oh my god, that is a steal.
Best Christmas present I've ever bought.
There you go. That's a steal. Fuck yeah, bro. All day, $2. Fuck yeah, I would have been so happy with that.
Yeah.
As a person, I would have been like, "This is the greatest present."
Oh, he
ever.
loved it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Now now it's even more popular than ever. I mean, it's reached. I believe it's reached the highest that it's ever been at ever. I mean, even when we were playing, it was popular then, but they didn't have celebrities playing, and they didn't talk about
No, it wasn't. It
No.
wasn't popular.
it wasn't popular, right?
It wasn't popular.
Now it's fucking fire,
Now,
bro.
now everybody does.
Yeah.
I mean, well, so back in the day, right? 1984. There was the movie Nerds.
Right.
The whole thing was based on how awkward and smart guys are kind of weird and can be different, but it's okay to be kind of weird and different. And so you look at the evolution, all right? You go from Nerds to Big Bang Theory, which is essentially the same thing, except for now the nerds, while they're still being made fun of for being nerds, they're okay being socially awkward. They're getting used to what they are, and there really has been a revolution that it's okay to be kind of smart. It's okay to enjoy some of these things. The veil has been lifted. I think some of the emotional shut off and some of the like the kids across the street from my house, right? And I was telling my wife this the other day too. They had Pogs. Do you remember Pogs?
Absolutely. Yeah.
They had Pokemon cards.
Okay.
They had some of the coolest comic books. And they would come over and play Dungeons and Dragons. They were a couple years younger than me. I remember one day I went over to their house and I was like, "Hey, you guys want to play Pogs?" And they were like, "Oh, we don't have any more Pogs." And I was like, "Oh, okay." It's like,
what's the deal?
You want to read a new comic book or something? And they're like, "Oh, we don't have any comic books." And I was like,
Here we go. Here we go. I already know what's going on here.
Do you have? And he's like, honestly, he's like, we still have the trampoline out back, and that's about it.
Has some Turkish porn in the back.
Yeah. I'm like, I got some black heart heroin.
Yeah.
Black
I got
black
some
heart
snuff
heroin.
porn.
Black
Snuff
heart
porn in the
heroin.
back.
I just want to point that out. I said black heart heroin. Black
Oh
heart
yeah, it's
heroin.
black tar heroin. Yeah.
I know what it is. Yes, that's
Yeah.
so. But he said, and so their parents were, I think, born again. Very nice people. I do not want to come across. They were very sweet, very nice to me. Dad would come out and play catch with us. Good people.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
the kids
that,
told me that
yeah.
their parents made them get rid of it all. And I said, so I'm like, okay, we'll go, okay, fine. I
What the
understand.
fuck does Pogs have to do with anything religious? You're literally taking a fucking piece of paper or
Well,
like a
okay.
piece of metal, hitting
So,
it against, oh my, come on.
okay, well. So this is what
Yeah.
he tells me.
Yeah.
Some of the images, because remember, some of them had stickers on them. Some of them were like devils.
Right.
Some of them had like
Yeah,
fire.
sure.
So
Sure.
some of it was considered satanic.
The imagery. Yeah.
So
that's the default always. It's always the default. It's always the satanic imagery.
If one is, it all is. Right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
But wait, it gets better. So I tell them, I'm like,
there's more.
There's more. So I go, okay.
Right.
Fine. Cool. Parents will do what as parents do, right? Just as Will Smith said, they don't understand.
Right.
Why didn't you give it to me?
That's a long callback, by the way, but go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I did that.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Only 90s kids, 80s kids will get that one, but go ahead.
Well, listen, that's been what we've been talking about the entire night.
Yes,
that's the
exactly.
We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
You're absolutely right. No, you're right. You're right.
Did you not also? We started off the night talking about Master Splinter and Yoda for sake.
No,
anyway, I digress. So, the point I was trying to come back to is I'm like, why didn't you give me those comic books? And the kid goes, oh no, it wasn't just that we couldn't have them.
Nobody could have them.
It was nobody could have them. It was like they had to be disposed of. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
That's scary.
I know.
That's scary, right?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, some of it was probably burned, some of it was probably just thrown away.
God damn.
I know. And I'm like, did they do this in front of you? He's like, no. They just told us, like, they sat us down and talked to us about like why they were doing it, and it was, it's kind of what we believe, and I was like,
that's again a lot of what we saw during that time, Jay.
Yeah, I mean the parents and again, when you start talking about it, it could very easily sound so bad, but they did talk to them through it, and they were nice, really nice people. But yeah, looking at it now. We're talking again 30 years later because we're old. Actually, more than that. Now you're talking 35 years later.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it and you're saying it clearly makes no sense. It really isn't about that. Like it's about it's a collective storytelling. I love it. That's the best way to describe it, and that's really what it is.
Yep. Yeah. No, listen, Jay, I think that's a great way of explaining it, and I think it's a great wrap up for tonight.
So I wanted you to post a picture.
Yeah.
Of like, if we can, I don't know how you can do this.
I'm sure I can figure it out.
If you go on like Google, you can Google like Fantasy High.
Yeah.
Tabletop model set, and see if there's like an image you can post just to show
the intricacies.
How far this is kind of advanced.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I definitely will. I'm gonna post that, Jay, here, because I really want to, show, like you said, everybody how it's really has changed over the times, and it's not like what it used to be. It's very prolific now, and it's very detailed, and because of thank God of the things that we have now, technology, we're able to do a lot of different things, and it's amazing because it's pushed the game even more, right?
Well, it really is. It takes it from, it takes it from just imagination,
right?
And really, when we played, it was paper,
literally
and
paper.
we had architect paper where we designed our own maps, and that's great. It's still the way I prefer to play, actually.
Yeah, right.
But to see, like, now that you have people who have spent their life in theater and model design and story and acting and improv, when their job is to perform and their passion is to perform, and it is how they pay their bills. But now you have this game that allows them to sit and really immerse themselves in something completely different. So they put all this extra stuff, and especially like this Fantasy High one, like they have a set where there's like a race car. Like it's crazy the stuff that they can do.
And not only that, Jay, I mean, it's gotten to the point where now that if you're a dungeon master, if you come up with your own dungeons and stuff like that, you run them, people will pay you for this. Let me play this real quick. Listen to this.
And I love it. And I will do it until I die.
Yeah.
And it saved me through pandemic. It saved me through strikes. You know, like I always had this thing to turn to for creativity and finances, frankly.
How finances?
People pay me to run games for them and pay me to write campaigns and do things like that.
Yo.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Gotta be good though.
Bro, if I knew that I would be able to get paid for writing dungeons back then,
I mean,
I would have spent my whole time just writing dungeons the whole time.
Right?
Right? I mean, geez. I mean, come on.
Right?
Oh, man.
Who
I'm
knew?
literally sitting on a campaign right now.
That's
It's all
funny.
written out. It's all written out, bro.
I actually spent most of my vacation. I've actually been working on a little side project that
There you go.
is a superhero narrative.
Oh, nice.
That has it's an intimate design for 2 players, and you're going to be one of them.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready for that one. But yeah, this is again exactly what we're talking about, Jay. This is how this game has evolved so much to the point where, you know, people are actually making money writing dungeons, becoming DMs, and doing all this stuff. It's amazing. I mean, we back then we never would have thought this was, you know, would have been a possibility. Never in my mind, at least, that I would say, oh, you could get paid for writing dungeons. Like, yeah, there's no way,
No way.
right? No way. But
No way.
that's where we're at now, Jay. At this point, and it's crazy that you know, this game has really evolved so much into what it is today. I wanted to highlight it because I think it's something that's very important, and I think that it's something that really got a bad rap between the 80s and 90s and early 2000s because of the whole demonization of it. You know what I mean? Especially because of the early you know, Satanic Panic issues of the 80s. You know, and you know, I really think, you know, shows like Stranger Things that really help put this game back on the map again. You know, and other
Big
things that really, yeah, absolutely, and made it a mainstream thing again, and people are just fucking eating it up. I love it. I think it's a great thing. Again, if you guys want to check more into it, you just go into Google, YouTube, and YouTube a bunch of stuff. You'll find a bunch of different things. Jay,
Listen, if I can again suggest a what to watch, we'll go for 2, right?
please.
Go to College Humor, go onto YouTube, and all you have to do is type in Fantasy High Season 1, Episode 1. Watch the first episode. Honestly, I don't think there's a better dungeon master than the guy who runs it. The guy, all the character actors are all improv. They all do improv, so they are quick. They're
Masters.
funny. There is art to support it. There is incredible sets. It's an amazing story arc. And like I said, there's a moment between the Father and the Son that will leave you in tears. I promise you, it's incredible, and it's all based on a role playing game.
And that's crazy, and that's just one of many that are out there. Many. So we implore you guys to, you know, check it out. Find what find what your groove is. If it's not that kind of thing, then look at maybe something else that's a different time. Maybe you're into vampires. Maybe you're into this. Maybe you're into goth. Maybe you're into, you know, there's something for everybody.
So many.
That's the thing about this, you know, whole thing. It's what's great about it. But I think that's a good wrap up for tonight, Jay. Talking about the subject. Again, I want to remind everybody how they can listen to the podcast. You can go to our website, darkfringeradio.com. Make sure you go there and check out all our, of course, recent postings and new things that we're putting out there, especially episodes and, of course, new, you know, material. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. And, of course, YouTube and TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you check it out. We're all there. Again, I'm Will Martinez for Dark Fringe Radio. Jay, anything else before we say goodnight?
Everybody, check out some role playing. Go find something. Open up. It is great for you. It's good for the imagination. Go use your imagination.
Yes.
Imagination.
Yeah. Use your brain. Use your brain. Absolutely, Jay. I couldn't have said it better myself. Listen, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us on another episode of Dark Fringe Radio. I'm Will Martinez. Of course, Jay Galosi for you guys here tonight. And we'll see you guys again next week with another edition of Dark Fringe Radio.